Well, here we go again. It feels like yet another round of Groundhog Day at the Boro as we now head to QPR midweek in what once again, as we go through the cycle every 4 games, feels like one of them must-win games. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Project Boro preview show where we preview every single Boro game here on the channel, and today we're looking ahead to Boro's midweek trip down to Loftus Road to face Queen's Park Rangers. And given Boro's current predicament, our current form, which is very up, very down, we find ourselves at this very same crossroads every 3 or 4 games, and it's the cycle that we've been going around all season long. We'll win 1 or 2, we're almost in the playoffs, we'll find a way of bottling it, we'll lose the next 2 or go winless in 2 or whatever, and we get to a game where you're like, okay, this is a game we could do with winning. The Sheffield United game was similar, 3 games back. That was after 2 defeats against Watford and Bristol City. You could say the Stoke game was similar after we'd had that awful defeat against Sunderland. Obviously, the Cardiff win was another one just before the first international break where we were like, we need to win this because we'd gone winless in the first block of games, barring the opening day. So we're here again, heading towards the end of another block where we are on the edge of mid-table mediocrity. We're looking at the playoffs slipping away, and we need a result to pull us right back in. And it would be typical if Boro were to win this game, get within a point of the playoffs, and then on Saturday against Luton, we lead, or we look to be ready to take a step into the playoffs finally, and we find a way of bottling it. We've been through this cycle 1,000 times. So it's a case of, it's not a must-win game for Boro's season overall as a whole, obviously not. It's stupid to say that at this stage, but it does just feel like in this mini bubble that we're living in of recent performances and recent frustrations, it feels like it's another big must-win game that will just reel us fans back in again just before things maybe tip over the edge, and it hooks us in, gets us back on track, and we're getting our hopes up a bit again as we have been, and then Boro will tear them hopes away probably against Luton on Saturday. So we'll see, but it does feel like a pretty big game. And I don't just think it's because of where Boro are, I think it's because of where Queen's Park Rangers are as well, because we are going away to a team who have had a shocking start to the season in truth. QPR, as I say, sit 23rd in the Championship with only 1 win in their opening 13 league games. They are winless in 9, I believe. They have the longest winless run in the Championship. And you guys in the comments, whether you're a Boro fan, some of you aren't, some of you are neutrals, and you've even come to terms with what the term typical Boro means. And typical Boro would very much mean going to a team who've only won 1. I'll say it, a team who haven't won at home, and they get their first win against Boro. It would be typical. We've seen it in 2 of the last 4 games. At home to Bristol City, hadn't won away. They beat us 2-0 at the Riverside. Same with Coventry. It would be very typical Boro that we go to a team who are absolutely desperate, can't buy a win, haven't won at home. They rock up at home, the Boro are the visitors, and we hand them their first home win of the season. It would be absolutely typical, but if there was one result that I think could potentially tip Boro fans' frustration, not quite over the edge, but it could really boil up, it would be losing to a team like QPR, and that's why this is a big game for Boro, because they are not in a great place. They're not very good at home, as I say, winless in 9, and they're 23rd, not just overall, they're 23rd for home form as well. So it's a great place to go for visiting sides. Boro should be expected to win this game. What I will say though about QPR, and a lot of this has more so come on the road for them, despite only having 1 win, they've actually only lost 5. And when I say only lost 5, they've lost the same number of games as Boro this season. So again, context is key here. We've both lost equally the same amount of games. The big difference is their number of wins and the fact that they've drawn 7. So had QPR turned 2 or 3 of them draws into wins, they wouldn't be far off where we are right now. So I know it doesn't look good on paper, and the results are the results, but QPR are a team that, are looking pretty desperate right now, but they're not a team that have lost a ginormous number of games because they've lost the same number of games as us. So a big game. We should be getting something. We should be winning this game. Looking a little bit deeper into QPR and what sort of team they have been this season, they, going forward, have scored only 11 goals in the Championship. They are the second lowest goal scoring team in the Championship. So they're right down there for, goals scored. Only Swansea have scored less, scoring 10, and obviously they went 6 without a goal. So that tells you how poor in front of goal QPR have been this season. And they're not great creators either, but I find their attacking numbers really interesting. So, as I say, they're not very good goal scorers. They're only 19th for XG, creating 13.3 this season, and they're 21st for big chances and 22nd for big chances missed. So they don't create much at all. They don't have many big opportunities in games, therefore they're probably not missing many big opportunities in games, but they are 7th for shots on target. So I think that might be pop shots from range, that might be hopeful shots from range that the keeper has to sort of deal with. But I feel like they're just a very, very, very worse team than Boro in attacking sense. We're creative, but we don't put many games away, we don't put many goals away, whereas these aren't that creative, but they're still not putting any chances away that they do create. And an interesting statistic between the two of us is we both have the 2 lowest shot conversion rates in the Championship. They actually are the only team to have a worse shot conversion rate than Boro, and it's only just. Our shot conversion is 6.4%, theirs is 6.3%. So they still, from the shots they do have, finish them terribly, and they just don't create as much as us. So they're basically Boro if we weren't anywhere near as creative as we are. They're still very wasteful for the chances that they do create, that of which aren't that many anyway. So I'd like to hope and think that would mean Boro's defence should be in for an easy day, but as we've seen a lot this season, most of the shots that do go on target find a way in Boro's net. So maybe we just have to prevent QPR from shooting at all, which doesn't seem all that difficult, but still they're not a very good attacking team. So you'd have to think Boro, if we have our shooting boots on even slightly, should outscore this QPR side, but of course, we've been here before. Defensively, they're not the worst in the league. They're 17th in the Championship for their defence, conceding 19 goals. So, yeah, they're not the best defence by any means, but they're also not the worst. They're sort of lower mid-table, definitely could do with being better, and that's paired up with their XG against as well, which is mid-table. So they're not that bad. They don't give up that many chances. I think that probably shows why quite a few of their games are quite low scoring. They're on the wrong end of quite a few low scoring games. They're not shipping goals left, right and centre, but equally they're not doing enough at the other end to get on the right side of a lot of these results too. So I still feel like just with Boro's poor conversion rate, we are going to have to still be quite creative in this game just to ensure we have enough chances to put them away, because you'd like to think QPR won't get that many opportunities, and if they do, they're probably going to have to be rather clinical. In saying that, Boro do find a way of gifting teams goals anyway, but QPR's last 2 games were both 0-0s. So that sort of tells you the kind of games they're having. I think they're just trying to make games very tight. They're just trying to maybe shore things up defensively. Once they get that nailed, they might start then turning their attention to scoring goals at the other end. But they've certainly sort of cracked the defensive side of things in recent times. They've drew their last 3. So although they're winless in what feels like forever, prior to the 3 draws they've had, they lost 4 in a row, and they were shipping quite a few goals. They shipped 3 to Hull, 2 to Derby, 2 to Pompey. But there probably is an argument to say QPR have improved slightly in the last 3, and they've drawn to Coventry, they've drawn to Burnley, and they've drawn to Sunderland. So, yeah, there's not a win on the board there, but they've prevented 2 of them 3 teams from scoring. Burnley did batter QPR in fairness, but they still come away from Turf Moor with a point. So Boro shouldn't be naive to looking at the league table and seeing where QPR are in the league, 23rd, not very good goal scorers, not the best defence. I don't think Boro should get too confident from that, because QPR's recent form has actually been alright, and they've picked up points against very good teams, and they've not conceded much. So, air of caution for this one, and it's the definition of a banana skin, and we've seen over the years many times, Boro have a very bad habit of slipping over these banana skins, so I don't think this game is going to be anywhere near as easy as it is on paper. Having a look at QPR's team, I don't know what to expect from QPR. I'm just going to hold my hands up now and say I don't know what to expect from them team-wise. I've looked at them on FootMob, and QPR fans in the comments, if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong here, because FootMob can get formations wrong from time to time, but their setups have changed quite a lot over the last few games. I don't know if that's Cifuentes still trying to find the right formula. I don't know if he's just adapting his team to the opposition's strength just to get results, but they've sort of flipped around their formation over the last 4 games. So 4 games ago against Pompey, when they lost, they played a 3-4-2-1. The game after that against Coventry, to which they drew 1-1, they played a 5-4-1. Against Burnley, to which they drew 0-0, they played a 4-4-2. Again, they were battered in that game and probably should have lost. They then reverted to the 3-4-2-1 again against Sunderland, to which they picked up a point, but Sunderland were down to 10 men in that last game, and they still weren't able to get a goal and get ahead and convert that result into a win, given they had a man advantage. So I feel like I can't really say for sure what QPR's lineup is going to be. I think maybe it could flip and change. They might just change their lineup to fit Boro's strengths, to combat Boro's strengths, maybe target our weaknesses. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can't predict what their starting 11 might be. What I can tell you, though, is their best attacking players are out injured for the time being. So Michael Frey, who is their top goal scorer with 3 goals, he's out at the moment until mid-November, I believe. And Karamoko Dembele, who is been involved in equally as many goals and assists this season as Michael Frey. They're both joint top for QPR for goal contributions with 4. He missed the Sunderland game because of a knee injury, I think, and was a doubt. So I don't know if this midweek game will come around too quickly for him. But even though QPR look very blunt, their 2 most influential attacking players are out right now as well, which might explain why they've drew the last 2 0-0. So if they are going to score, or if they are going to threaten Boro in any way, you'd probably assume it will come through either Frey or Dembele. If neither of them are in the team, that's probably a huge, huge plus for Boro. So we'll see. We'll see how QPR set up, whether they just do what teams are doing earlier in the season, and that's sit deep, defend, ask Boro to break them down, because as we know, Boro aren't very good at breaking down teams who defend with a low block and park the bus, if you could say that. So maybe QPR are just in a position where they just need results, and they'll do anything for them results, and they'll just try and frustrate Boro, maybe hit us on the counter, maybe try and get a goal from a set piece or a corner, and it wouldn't put it past them that working and them nicking a 1-0 win off us if we're not clinical. So we'll see how QPR set up. But yeah, any attacking threat they do have, which there isn't much of, might not even be in the game, and they might miss the game anyway. As for the Boro 11, it depends on who's available. It depends on potential injuries. Obviously, we all had an ideal lineup for the Coventry game, and it's safe to say our hopes were absolutely smashed, and our optimism was shattered once we saw the starting 11 before the Coventry game, because we didn't expect to see certain players rested. So this might be wrong. This is what I would like to see. Might not be the case. Who knows? The back 5, I think, should stay relatively similar to what it was against Coventry. I think because Rav's out, obviously Edmondson We'll partner Clark at the back with Borges on one side. I'd probably like to see Dyke still come in again. I think he's in slightly better form than Lehrling, to be honest with you. And I think away from home against a team like QPR, I just feel like Dyke still could be the better option. I'd just like to see him given another go, to be honest with you. Alongside Hayden Morris. Obviously, we need someone to slot in for Hayden Hackney, who is suspended. I've gone with Johnny Howson. Part of me would want to go with Barlasser because I feel like Morris is that more defensive Jack Russell, player who'll nip into challenges, make the interceptions. Maybe Morris and Howson are a bit too similar. So there is an argument to suggest we could have a more progressive, creative ball-playing midfielder alongside Morris. So maybe Barlasser's the more natural replacement for Hackney than what Howson is, and maybe Howson's a better replacement for Morris, but I just feel like with who Carrick's favoured more in the last few games, Howson probably will be favoured over Hackney, and he is the club captain. So I've gone with Howson. The front four is the same as what I was hoping for against Coventry, but as I say, I don't know if this will depend on who's available. Duck, I hope his hamstring issue is fine and he comes in. My worry, it's clear that Carrick is managing his minutes, and Carrick might prioritise the Luton game over this one with Ben Doak. He might think, well, this is too quick and too soon for Doak, so we'll just hang on for a few more days so he's absolutely 110% for Luton. This might be too soon for him, and again, if he comes back in too early here, will he be fit then for the Luton game? I don't know. I don't know how Carrick's going to play it, but if he is 100% fit, you just have to start him. We're such a better team with him on the right-hand side. But I will say, if Doak isn't starting on the right, I wouldn't go with Isaiah Jones. I mentioned this in the Coventry review. You may as well play with 10 men. He's offering us nothing at the moment, and he's a shadow of the player he was. So I'd even go with Hamilton. I'd even go with Bergzorg, even if Force, by some magic, is fit, which I don't think he will be. I just wouldn't go with Jones if Doak's not fit. But I've put him in there anyway. I am a bit worried he might not play McGree. Because again, Carrick is big on managing minutes, rotating the team. Carrick doesn't utilise McGree for 3 games in a row, 90 minutes, all that often he normally gets rested. And obviously he put in a big shift against Coventry when we were down to 10. So I have a very niggly feeling in the back of my mind that he might rest Riley McGree and start Bergzorg or Hamilton. And as much as I can see the sense in that, I just hope he doesn't, because when Boro need a win, you want Riley McGree there. So we'll see. But in an ideal world, he starts, as does Tommy Conway, who put in an outstanding shift against Coventry and is the most informed striker we have right now. So that's the team I'd go with. But I am fully expecting a few surprises. And when I say surprises, I don't mean them in a positive sense. Looking at the head-to-head then, and this just piles more misery on Boro, to be honest with you, because our head-to-head with QPR isn't great. Since 2010, we've played each other 20 times in the Championship, and they've had the better of it. They've won 10 of the 20 meetings, so half of them essentially. Boro have won 7, and there've only been 3 draws in there. Across recent times, it's been even, I'd say, between the two. We've beat them on occasion, they've beat us on occasion. Been a lot of draws in there. But if you look at the last 10, and you narrow it down to that, QPR still have the edge on Boro. They've won 5 of their last 10 games against us. The positive is Boro did win at QPR 2-0 last season, but that was our first win at QPR in 6 attempts, drawing 3 and losing the other 2. So I wouldn't call Loftus Road a happy hunting ground for Boro at all, really. We don't string a positive run of results together here. Over time, we'll win 1 in every so few. So back-to-back wins would be lovely, but history doesn't say we do that very often at QPR. So fingers crossed this time we do. My prediction, I've got to still be blindly positive about Boro. And listen, the game is one we should be winning. It's as simple as that. There's no getting around the fact that with the team we have, going to a team who are 23rd, winless in 9, winless at home, there's no excuse for Boro rocking up there and not winning. But of course, the very typical Boro thing to do would be to hand them their first win in 9 and their first home win of the season. I can see it now. I've seen this movie 1,000 times before, but surely this is the sort of game Boro will win, because as we've seen this season, over and over again, when we've got to this point, when we've got to Groundhog Day, when we're teetering on the edge of what is a must-win game, Boro always pull a win out, and it calms the situation down again, only for us to return here in 3 or 4 games' time. So I would probably say we'll win here and then find a way to completely throw away the points against Luton on Saturday. That's exactly what has been happening, and that's exactly what pattern I expect to happen again, probably. So I am going to blindly go for a Boro win, just because anything less would simply be a huge disappointment, and I dread to think what might be the reaction within Boro fan base if we come away from QPR without a win. God forbid we come away with a defeat. It doesn't even bear thinking about. But I'm going to go 2-0 Boro. I think we might score early, find a way of putting ourselves under pressure, hopefully seal it later on with a second. But do let me know your thoughts on this game in the comment section below, whether you're a Boro fan, QPR fan or a neutral. Let me know your thoughts on this game. How big of a game is this for you on both sides of the fence? Your prediction, your thoughts, your predicted team ahead of this game, and what you think will happen. And if you've enjoyed the video, do subscribe as always and hit the bell too so you never miss when a video drops. And if you listen on the podcast provider, as always, give me a like and a rating over there. But until the next one, guys, do take care, and I'll be back on Wednesday to review what hopefully is a positive result for Boro down at Loftus Road. But until then, do take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.